No way! Hello everybody. Our deck is called our Capricious Multiverse today. Welcome to Tpull's Corner. My name is Travis. My username on Online Arena is Tpull, but my opponent is also Travis, which I never expected to see. So it's a bad timing this right. This video will be released just after Christmas, so I hope you all had a good holiday. And what inspired me for this deck is recently I did another Hit It Sugo and Carry deck, and I usually have my 2 copies of Breach the Multiverse in that deck. And I went back to adding in red, and I added in Capricious Hellraiser. And that copy with Hit It Sugo and Carry and Breach the Multiverse, they bounce off of each other. They create this kind of cascade effect in and of themselves that you can just sort of keep casting things. And it was really fun. But when I was showing off that deck, that particular situation didn't come up in the video. So I took a break from Hit It Sugo and Carry because I've got like 4 or 5 decks with them already in the last couple months. It turned out to be one of my favorite cards. I think what I'll do is I won't build around it anymore for a while. I might include, if I have a blue and black deck, I might put 1 or 2 cards in. And that'll be it. But we have 3 copies of Cut Your Losses, because I decided to make it a mill deck instead of Hit It Sugo and Carry deck. I've got 3 copies of Capricious Hellraiser, and in the main deck I have 2 copies of Breach the Multiverse, so we have 8 high-costing cards. And of course, Arena's given me 3 of the 8 already. Let's just get rid of Grixis Sunslayer. And we'll go ahead and bring this puppy down now.
Surrender your mind to Phyrexia's will. Heal.
It's just going to stay a 5 cost if they don't have a removal spell, if they just keep hitting it with one of the Prowlers. I've got a problem because I don't quite have the second black mana I need to use Hero's Downfall against a bigger threat. And here they can just pump that up right away. Not good. They have not missed a land drop yet. And they don't attack. It's kind of weird.
Become subdued.
I wonder if they're going to spread out the tokens, the counters. This is a funny thing about this deck is I included a particular enchantment saga in it, and as soon as I did, Magic has done nothing but put a bunch of 1/1 creatures against me, but ones that they can stack up with counters. I have faced nothing but counters for the last 3 days. It is disgusting. And I refuse to take my enchantment saga out, but Arena keeps doing it to me. Because the sagas prepare you for big creatures, not 1/1s. It can't do anything against 1/1s with counters because the enchantment saga puts an Eldraine roll onto the opponent's creature. They're just stacking it all on one. Will they attack now? They're going straight to my face. It's like I'm facing a blue player. They're taking a really long time to think about everything. They can do something, we know it. They're looking at their graveyard. Aha. Okay, interesting. If they're gonna do that, let's play
Our
Invasion
plans
of
are
Capricious.
beyond your comprehension.
Search the sideboard. Let's go get burn down the house. Bring down both your creatures now, please. That would be ideal for me. We missed a land drop. They did not. That generally means I'm going to die. Because my costs are 7, 6, and 6. And I really need that extra land. They're putting them both down? Is it because they just have another Urborg repossession? And they want me to do my board wipe now so they can just bring everybody. Okay, again, thank you, Magic Arena. And typically what happens on these type of things is they'll give me 5 lands and then it won't give me any more. And it'll just give me all the powerful spells. And I've run into this before. I've been doing this 2.5 years.
And uninteresting.
Yeah, I don't mind hurting my own planes.
Become subdued.
It used to be that I could not put in more than 2 5-drops in my deck. Everything had to cost 4 mana or less. If so, I would get them in my opening hand, and I would never even get to 5 lands. And I would be dead on turn 4 or 5. And I don't know what to tell you, that's just the way things were. Now we get this at last. Let's go ahead and try the Capricious Hellraiser. It's going to choose one of the 3 at random. No, I get to choose. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to burn down the house. We're going to kill everybody. There goes my poor Planeswalker.
Your victory
Probably
is
should
an
have used that
illusion.
before I
Nothing
did something.
more.
But they got 2 5/5s out in 1 turn, so I had to do something. Aha. Not sure I'll cut your losses yet.
I'll take note of all your failures. You can be made to obey.
We got 38. Okay, that's perfect. We're not going to bother with Breach the Multiverse now. We're just going to mill them out. We've got Alchemist Retrieval to bring that back up into our hand in case they have a removal spell real quick. But in order to make it work, I need to cast this first, have Jace survive, and then do the ultimate, the 3rd ability with Jace the Perfected Mind. But they've got enough power to cast pretty much any spell that green or black can do. I wonder if they're going to get something out of the graveyard. Again. Yep, okay, I called it. They get the same 2 spells. And they just bring down the creatures. Okay, perfect. That's what we wanted. And pump it up. Okay. Just to use all our stuff. Okay, the land comes down. We don't need it anymore. We're going to mill them for... And then we'll just get rid of Jace.
The knowledge I pull one
They get one
thread,
more draw.
and your entire mind unravels.
And they need to do 17 points of damage in this 1 turn. And I can say, Travis beat Travis. We get another turn out of this, if they don't scoop. So we could play Breach the Multiverse. And what are we going to get out of that? I like that card. I like that card. There's the combo. I didn't even think we were going to do the combo. And
become subdued.
Okay, that's called a double win. Maybe a triple win because I beat somebody with my own name. I decided to make a mill deck. We won by milling them, but we also managed to demonstrate the combination of those two cards at the same time. That's like the triple crown of Magic right there. Alright, let me show you the full deck in its total glory here. Alright, here's the combo that you just saw that I was aiming for. We breach the Multiverse. Each player mills 10 cards. I can get something from their graveyard and something from mine. It could be a creature or a planeswalker. What I do is I grab a Capricious Hellraiser, then the Capricious Hellraiser comes to the battlefield. Once it does, you exile 3 cards at random from your graveyard, and then you get to choose among those non-creature, non-land cards from among them, and you get to copy it and cast the copy without paying the mana cost. And what I was doing with the Hit Etsugo and Carry deck was I was alternating between getting the Hellraiser and Hit Etsugo and Carry back and casting Breach the Multiverse repeatedly. And so what we did is we just cut out one of the legendary creatures and turned it into a mill deck, put in 3 copies of Cut Your Losses and 2 copies of Jace the Perfected Mind to help me with milling. And now, but the cool thing is you can play Breach the Multiverse, go get your Capricious Hellraiser, and then Capricious Hellraiser has a good chance, depending on what cards are in your graveyard and what it exiles at random, you can hit Breach the Multiverse again, mill another 10 cards, maybe hit a second Capricious Hellraiser even, if that we didn't do it that time, but I've done that before, and it's a lot of fun. So you create a little loop here, and I'm just so happy because I was just thinking I was going to mill out the first opponent, so I'm so happy that I've already showed you the combination. So whatever Arena does to me now, and it has been a struggle with this deck, I can die happy. Okay, so to help me out with the rest of the deck, we've got 3 copies of Alchemist Retrieval. It can return our stuff to our hand so we can protect it, or for the cleave cost, if they've got like a big 8/8 token, we can just bounce it and get rid of it. We've also got 2 copies of An Offer You Can't Refuse. This is actually a way you can ramp earlier if I'm having trouble getting my 7 lands to cast Breach the Multiverse, but I've got these cards. I could try and cast Cleave on something of mine, and then I can counter my own spell. It'll give me 2 treasure tokens. So the next turn, even if I miss another land drop, if I had the 5 lands, plus the 2 treasure tokens, then on turn 6, I can cast Breach the Multiverse. Maybe catch them off guard by casting it a turn early. That also saves me from having to squeeze in green as a 4th color and put in a bunch of ramp cards, because then we wouldn't have room for a lot of stuff. Because we can go ahead and cast, we can get a copy of this non-creature non-land card that we exile. We can cast the copy. I've also got a copy of Errant Street Artist in here that copies target spells that weren't cast. So it can't copy Breach the Multiverse because it was cast. It can't copy Capricious Hellraiser, I don't think, because it just brings it in. We choose it from the graveyard. It puts it on the battlefield. However, when Capricious Hellraiser enters the battlefield and we get to exile those cards, that card that we cast is going to be a copy. So if we have 2 extra mana, we can cast that spell twice in the same turn. If it seems confusing, just wait. We'll see if it comes up. It's very rare. I've made a Errant Street Artist deck a couple of different times. Generally speaking, as soon as I get enough energy to use it, the opponents always scoop and I never get to show it off. So it can seem confusing, but if it comes up, I'll do it in slow motion if I can. Gnawing Vermin, target player mills 2 cards when it comes in, and when it dies, creature you don't control gets a -1/-1. This is really good for getting rid of 2/2 creatures. If they don't have trample, we're golden, right? Sort of. We got 2 persistent specimens. As long as we have the 3 energy, every time they die, we bring them right back to the battlefield tapped. Next turn, we don't attack with them. We just block if they're sending 8/8/9/9 creatures our way. Really, our biggest trouble is trample. For removal cards, we don't have a lot. We've got 2 copies of March of Wretched Sorrow to deal damage, and it gains its X life, depending on how much we pay. We've got 2 Go for the Throats. 1 Parasitic Grasp. It deals 3 damage to target human creature. If we pay the extra black mana, then we can do it to any target creature and gain 3 life. And we've got 2 Heroes Downfalls. So that's only 7 removal cards. But we do have a way to, if we, on some of these, instants and removal spells, that we could do them extra. I've got Gadwick's First Duel. This is what I was talking about, where the first chapter you create a cursed roll, enchant the creature, it gives it a base power and toughness of 1. So I was thinking I was going to come up against a ton of Sheoldreds and I'd, turn them into 1/1s. And instead, for like 8 of the last 10 decks, my opponent keeps putting down 1/1s and then pumping them with counters constantly. So it hasn't been very useful. And I haven't encountered that kind of streak of creatures using counters in my life until I put this card in the deck. So I started playtesting at 4, I went down to 3. Arena's still doing it to me. That's part of the way I think that it wants to do this rock, paper, scissors kind of thing and defeat the deck. But whatever, I'm not taking them out. I've got 1 Defabricate. There's so many good artifacts and enchantments that are out there. This will just exile it instead of putting it into the graveyard so they can't get it back. 1 Realmbreaker. This helps with the milling, right? And we get lands from their graveyard, so it'll help us ramp and get up to the 7 lands earlier. The 2 Jaces, and you just saw me win by strategically, we do a cut your losses, mill half their deck, and then we can do the -X at the bottom, mill 3 times X cards, and that gets rid of most of their cards by the time we build up enough energy to use all that. I've got 1 copy of C Doubled. This spell can't be copied, so we can't use it with Errant Street Artists, but we can either copy their target spell, or we can create a token that's a copy of a target creature if they've got a good target creature we like. If they happen to have 8 cards or more in their graveyard, which fits with us trying to mill them out, so we should be able to help fulfill this card, then we can actually choose both of those at the same time. And I have a sideboard because I have a copy of Invasion of Arcavios now. When it enters the battlefield, for this battle card, you can search your library, graveyard, or outside the game for an instant or sorcery you own. So I packed 7 instants and sorceries in here because I recently got my 3rd copy of Breach the Multiverse. So if the deck's not dealing me the regular 2 that I already had, and I get this card, I can wait until I have the proper amount of energy, and then I can go get it from my sideboard strategically when I'm ready to get that and get that thing going. Other things are basically kind of board wipes, right? I've got a Structural Assault that destroys all artifacts in case I come up against Artifact Tribal. I've won a couple of games that way just by basically casting this, getting rid of all their artifacts and doing enough damage to get rid of all their creatures. If you do it right, it turns into basically a big board wipe. Burn Down the House can be a board wipe or give you 3 1/1 tokens. Grixis Command can be another type of board wipe. Into the Fake Court, if you're going up against flyers, you can create 3 fairy creature tokens with flying, and you draw 3 cards. And I've got a Wrinkle's Prank in there where you can make them discard 2 cards, lose 4 life, and or sacrifice 2 creatures. But you have to be willing to do the same. And then finally, I've got a copy of Mishra's Command, which is like all the command cycle of cards. You get to choose 2 of the 4 options. So if I've gone by that too fast, you can pause the video at any time if you want to peruse the sideboard. I've got the deck list published below as well, and that will include the sideboard. The last card I want to point out is, well, 2 cards. I got Restless Spire that you can turn into a 2/1 blue and red elemental creature, has 1st strike, and you can scry when it attacks with it. But more thematically, whenever I have a blue and black deck, I tend to put my 1 copy of Restless Reef in. Get a 4/4 blue and black shark creature that has Death Touch. But the important thing is, when it attacks, target player mills 4 cards. And that's kind of handy. It fits in with the theme. But that's the idea. We want to get out, breach the multiverse. We would ideally like to ramp into, I call it ramp. That's my expression. I know it's wrong, but I'd like to ramp breach the multiverse into a Capricious Hellraiser. And then maybe, if I'm lucky, do Breach the Multiverse again. In the meantime, we'll just keep trying to mill them all out. Okay, Arena kind of reverted to form and is giving me one of the most expensive cards at the very beginning. It did this a long time for a lot of the time. Do Annoying Vermin. And I would point it out in my matches every time it happened. And it would happen multiple times in each video. And for those of you that are new, if you want to have fun going back through the older ones, you can see that I'm not making it up. It's very firmly documented that this happened. And then I got 4 copies of Hidetsugu and Carry. And there's a red card that costs 10, and you can use it in combination with Hidetsugu and Carry to make a 1-turn kill. So because that was the most expensive card in my deck, I would always get it at the beginning. And I won about 3 or 4 matches in a row. And then Arena figured something was wrong with what it normally does to me. And it stopped giving me that card. And I stopped getting the red card. I would still get Hidetsugu and Carry on occasion because I had 4 copies in the deck, but I only had 1 copy of the red card. And I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name right now. But you go into the Hidetsugu and Carry playlist and go to the first blue, black, and red deck that I had, and it's there. Anyway, let's go ahead and kill the Jewel Thief now. If we can. They don't have a way to protect it. Hello? Hello? It's probably got a combat spell kind of thing. Once we deal damage. Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to return this one to my hand then. And make that fizzle. Let that resolve. They get rid of their card anyway. We'll go ahead and attack. And we can mill them again by bringing that right back down. Sweet. There goes another fight spell. And 2 of their Modern Age enchantment sagas. Unfortunately, I'm tapped out now. They do not miss a land drop. Oh yeah, return something up to my hand. Please, let me mill you some more. Come on, you know you want to. They gotta connive first. They gotta figure out which card to discard. There we go. Ooh, cleanup crew. That's an expensive spell, but with the treasure, they could afford it. That must mean they have another cleanup crew. They did it. I can't believe they did it. Okay, that gets rid of a draw spell. Pass the turn. See if they play a cleanup crew. Or a Titan of Industry. Colossal Sky Turtle instead, okay? Alright, we get rid of the Psychic Pickpocket. Just target the same one, same creature. Alright, that's not an artifact creature, right? Okay, what's the Ward 2? Okay, so we have just enough to get rid of it. And you notice we missed our land drop again, so they've got 6 lands and we've got 4. Which, 7 lands, and I missed again, so we're in trouble. Because Arena is deciding to land starve me. Because we had the temerity to win our first match. Finally, we got 1. Should I get something from the sideboard? Let's pass for now. They don't have counterspell, do they? Let's test them. Come on. Sideboard! What do we want? I feel like we should draw 3. That's kind of inoffensive, right? It's not too threatening to them. We've got enough cards in their graveyard. We could do 2 of those. Okay, they usually do the green Rhino Warrior creature token. And they gain 5 life. Okay. How do we want to do this? What do they have in their graveyard? They've got the Sky Turtle. I think I'd rather do this. But I think I want to do it during their turn. Okay, so we start with this. And then we'll go ahead and cast this. I thought you'd draw 3 fairy tokens. I saw the draw 3. You draw 3 cards, you get 1 token. That's all you get. Okay, are you going to destroy my enchantment with that? Unfortunately, they just get a copy of the target, and the target happens to be a 1/1. But that does give them the 4/4 as well. And we can't block with this either. They don't care. They're not letting the 1/1 live. Ouch. Interesting they put it on that one and not that one. Alright. We get a life back. What do I want to do here? I don't like that they have that available. I think we have to breach. Okay, what kind of things can we get here? 6/6 is probably good, you think? No. Pickpocket. And Gnawing Vermin. Build them for 2. Get rid of another cleanup crew. And which spell do we want to get rid of? Let's get rid of Errant Street Artist for now, I think. Return the token. They probably have another fight spell. No, they don't. They get rid of a couple of lands. So they've got tons of land. They've only got 18 cards left. I'm all tapped out. Gross. Block you. Take 2 points of damage. Okay. Copy you. Create 4/4. Let's do shield counter. I like that. Pass. Okay. Now we're making them take a long time. They can return their Titan of Industry to their hand now with that. Perfect. We've got a shield counter. The sledge monster dies. Unless they use the Colossal Sky Turtle now. They didn't even rearrange the order of damage. They could have at least taken out the Rhino Wire. Is there a target card they're going to bring back from the graveyard instead? Alright. We bring down the Capricious Hellraiser. What are my choices? C double. Create a token. I like it. We get another 4/4, we get another shield counter. I go after Invasion of Arcavios. Trample, so we get most of it in already. We get most of the damage in. I feel like they should have bounced something. They should have bounced one of these. They should have bounced their own and brought it back down again. It looks like they're going to get something from the graveyard. Why are they looking at Careful Cultivation? What is going on? In the meantime, can't they be using this to create a copy of Titan? I mean, we're going to stop it, but they don't know that. They bring back the Sledge Monster. Okay. Who's your target? Okay, they chose the target. Oh, you know what? Because that already had the sledge counter on it. The counter doesn't go away. And that has trample, which we don't like. Let's see if they want to block them with the Blossom Prancer. Okay. Excellent. Now we use Takenuma. Let's go get Capricious Hellraiser. Let's bring down Capricious Hellraiser. Let's do... The X-Spell's no good. Let's do Gadwin's First Duel. Sludge Monster 1/1. And end the turn. They can... If they attack with it, they can make all of my stuff 2/2s. But they're going to lose that Sludge Monster. Jewel Thief doesn't have reach, right? Just Vigilance and Trample. So all they can do is chump block with Titan of Industry, but now I've got a 4/4 flyer. They're down to 14 cards, I'm down to 22. Offer you can't refuse. You can have 2 treasure tokens instead. And this battle is taking so long, we're only going to have a couple of matches here, basically. Because the dinner bell is being rung for me. I can't put that off for too long. Oh. There. Wait. Now that has reach. And vigilance. Why would you do that? I'm just going to double block that. That makes no sense to me. I think that was just a slip-up on their part. Is that flying? No, it has first strike and it's a 2. Yeah, okay. Let me just hold on to that first, just in case they have something tricky they bring up. We'll bring you over. We'll bring you over. Go ahead and attack with you. See if they chump block with the Titan of Industry, or if they're holding out hope of getting a card that they can use to bring it back. We finally get our enchantment. Invocation of the Founders! Oh, that's going to be lovely. Hullbreaker Horde. Sweet! That's a nice card. But they didn't save it. They don't have a second spell. So now, we have this, and this, and this. A 1. Take action, copy the spell. 2. get its first dual copies at 3. 1 removal spell. Hit him for 3. It is lovely. 14 plus 8. 16, 20, 24 points. Oh, I think we had instant... That was actually lethal, wasn't it? Yeah, that was exactly lethal. And they were ready to make sure that we didn't get to it. They managed to concede first before we hit them in. That was fun. All right, let me leave the match. We'll go in and look up the deck list one more time for you. And sorry if I slowed down. That one was a little tricky. That deck is a nice, powerful deck. It's got a lot of powerful cards. It's got a lot of options. I think my opponent misplayed a couple times. I think they had some different things they could have done with their bouncing that they could have gotten the Titan of Industry back and made things a little bit more challenging for me. And I think that was enough. That was a nice, interesting, fun challenge for me, I thought. That's a good match. So hopefully you agree. Go ahead and leave me some comments. Remember to like and subscribe. Let me know what you might try different with the deck. But yeah, I was glad to get this combo in. We won by milling. We won by direct damage to the face. We managed to do some copies of copying so that we could do, and you could see where I've minimized my removal again, just 2, 4, 6, 7 removal spells really. And but we've sort of configured the deck to sort of allow for that and compensate for that reduced interaction so that we can still get things done. We can sort of, with our copy spells, we can make these force multipliers if we do it right. So I was really happy to be able to demonstrate that. The only thing I wasn't able to do was get out and use Errant Street Artists and start copying the heck out of everything. But I don't know. If I ever manage to do that, I think I might have to go to Sparky because nobody ever wants to sit still for that. Anyway, again, hope you had a Merry Christmas. Thanks for tuning in. Go ahead and do the liking and subscribing and all that stuff, or leave a comment. The algorithms like that. And I'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.